Hi everyone, we are from Group 4 for C, and today we would like to presenting our topic, which is food contamination.
And these are our team members: Kalista Ariana, Stanfi Ajik, Muhammad Aiman, and Adam Nazmi.
Let's talk about the introduction for the video. So what is food contamination? So food contamination refers to the presence of harmful substance or agents that enter the food that can make it unsafe for human consumption. According to World Health Organization (WHO), it estimated around 866 million, or almost 1 in 9 people in the world, fall ill after eating contaminated food, and 1.52 million die every year. Another point is children under 5 years of age experience 29% of the health burden due to unsafe food, with 143,000 deaths in the year of 2021. So why food contamination matters? So there are several key reasons to this. So the first one, it can cause foodborne illness such as fever, vomiting, diarrhea, and others. Another point is it affects vulnerable population such as children, senior citizens, and etc. So another point is it can lead to disease outbreak. Even one, for example, food poisoning case can lead to outbreak. And lastly, it reduces public confidence in food safety. Let's talk about the types of food contaminant. So there are primarily three. So the first one is being a physical contamination. This occurs when foreign objects enter the food. Example for this is glass fragments, hair, stone, etc. The second one is biological contamination. So this one is the most occurs. So this happen when a harmful microorganism or living being enters the food. So it also can be bacteria, parasites, fungi, and more. And then lastly, chemical contamination. Example to this is pesticides, cleaning and sanitizing chemicals.
Now, let's move on to parts of the problem. First, let's watch a short video and then see what are the problems. Ayam ni berapa satu? Dan akak boleh ke biar macam tu je, macam banyak je lalat dekat situ?
Adik jangan risau, semua ni masih panas dan kita orang baru je goreng.
Okey lah kak, saya rasa saya nak ayam ni satu dengan bantu satu.
Adik boleh.
Thank you.
Sama-sama.
A few moments later.
Wanginya makanan ni. Dahlah murah. Baik juga akak tadi tu. Jom makan.
One eternity later.
Sedapnya dinner tadi. Dah lah, nak tidur lah. Bawa sampah dulu.
3:28 a.m.
Mak, perut lah. Did you see the problems? If not, let me fill you in. So, problem number 1, environmental contamination. The food was left completely exposed to the open air, creating an unsanitary environment that attracted numerous flies. Problem number 2, inadequate vendor hygiene. The food handler demonstrated poor hygiene practices by touching her hair, neglecting to wear a hairnet, and using her phone during service. And finally, problem number 3, unsafe food handling. The vendor packaged the food using bare hands instead of wearing gloves. increasing the risk of cross-contamination. Now, I will be talking about the exposure pathways. The first one is direct ingestion of contaminated food. The most straightforward pathway occurs when a person directly consumes food or beverages that are already harboring harmful pathogens or toxins. For example, eating undercooked poultry contaminated with salmonella, or drinking water from an untreated source. The second one is cross-contamination during handling. This happens when biological or chemical contaminants are transferred from a contaminated source to a clean, ready-to-eat item, usually due to poor food handling practices. For example, using the same cutting board or knife for raw meat and fresh salad without washing it in between, or a food handler transferring bacteria from their hands to a customer's meal. The third one is contact with contaminated surfaces and equipment. In industrial hygiene, surfaces that transfer disease are called fomites. Food frequently picks up pathogens by coming into direct contact with unsanitary kitchen surfaces, dirty processing equipment, or poorly maintained storage areas. For example, placing cooked food on a countertop that hasn't been sanitized, or running ingredients through processing machinery that has bacterial biofilm buildup. And the final one is environmental and air contamination of food. It can become contaminated via the surrounding environment. This occurs when airborne particles settle on exposed food, or when environmental pests act as carriers, physically transferring pathogens from waste directly onto the food. For example, leaving food uncovered in an area where flies or pests can land on it, or dust and airborne droplets settling onto food in an open-air market.
Now I will be talking about routes of transmission. In our scenario, the routes of transmission is contaminated hands and flies to the food, then to the customers, and finally causing illness. The sources of contaminations begins when the food sellers touch her hair and phone while preparing food without washing her hand. At the same time, flies are seen landing on the uncovered food. Flies can carry harmful microorganisms from the dirty environment and transfer them to the food. Possible agents involved in this contamination are bacteria such as Salmonella and E. coli. These bacteria are transferred from the seller's hand and flies to the food. This process known as cross-contamination, where microorganisms spread from one source to another. When the customer buys and consumes the contaminated food, the microorganisms enter the body through the digestive system. These examples show how poor hygiene practices and exposure to the flies can lead to the transmission of harmful microorganisms and cause illness in consumers. Next, I will be talking about effect on community. Food contamination can have several effects on the community. In terms of health, it can cause symptoms such as fever, diarrhea, vomiting, stomach pain, dehydration, and loss of appetite. Besides affecting health, food contamination also has economic and social impact. It can increase healthcare costs and cause a loss of customer trust, which may lead to reduced sales and negative effect on the food business.
Now, on to our solution. Firstly, we have individual responsibility. For individually, we need to wash our hands before preparing food or eating food. We cook the food thoroughly, especially meat, poultry, and seafood, and separate the raw and cooked food to prevent any cross-contamination, and to store food at the safe temperature. And secondly, we have food handling and food business responsibility. First, they need to follow hygiene and sanitation procedure, wear gloves, hairnet, and clean uniform as personal protection, and to ensure the food preparation areas are regularly cleaned. And also implement GMP and HACCP practices. And the last, number third, is the government and the community responsibility. First, they must conduct inspection of food premises, And also, they need to strengthen the food safety education campaigns and encourage of reporting food poisoning incidents and to promote community awareness through school and public programs. And now last but not least is to ask or call to action. Food contamination can happen at any stage from the farm onto our table, but it can be prevented. We can ask everyone to practice food hygiene, handle food safely, and stay informed about food safety. Together, we can help reducing the foodborne disease and to protect our community. And also, you need to remember, you are not alone in this. Food safety is everyone's responsibility.
That's all from us. Thank you for listening.